All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here for tonight's State of the District. We are actually going to start tonight with a special presentation from our Northwest High School band. So in a moment, we're going to pull the screen up, the curtains are going to open, and we're going to take a few moments to just enjoy some quality entertainment from our Northwest High School band. So without further ado, we'll let them get started. want to thank Mr. Huning and Mr. Greenwood and the entire Northwest High School Marching Band for an amazing performance, and I'd be lying if I didn't say everyone who's here wasn't swaying back and forth when they played Sweet Caroline. So it's not by accident we start with students on stage performing and sharing their talents with us, because we're going to talk tonight about the state of the district. The district sounds nebulous, but the district is the faces that we saw behind us, and the faces they represent throughout the entire district, the students that we serve on a daily basis. I am Daryl Yater, superintendent of the district, and I am excited to be here tonight, not just to talk about the state of the district, but where we're going as a district. We're going to talk about the mission, the strategic plan, and we orient tonight to the strategic plan. So we'll talk through all of those key areas of our plan, the work that we're doing to move the vision of that plan forward and the vision of the district forward. We're going to start with a few introductions. We have some special guests that are here tonight. We first want to thank the entire Board of Education for their continued support and dedication to the district. Specifically, we have two of the board members here tonight. We have Mr. Matt Teetsort and our president, Ms. Nicole Talby, and we thank them for being here tonight for this presentation. We have several people who are either in attendance, because I can't see for that light, or they're on their way. Waze may have miscalculated their traffic on Colerain Avenue, so they might be en route. Dr. Bob Shapiro from the Mayerson Center, he's the director of the Center for Safe and Healthy Children out of the Mayerson Center, has been an amazing partner to the district and has provided a lot of trainings and support to our staff. Dina Naderman from the Hamilton County Juvenile Court. About 6 or 7 years ago, we started a partnership with the court for our SAFE Council, which is a student and family engagement council ran by the court that addresses truancy and disorderly conduct charges and a lot of diversionary charges for the district. Gail Nolte and Dale Beck from Side by Side, who are everywhere doing everything and provide a tremendous amount of support to the district. Jennifer Miliani, who is from the YWCA, they are a partner of ours and through a grant have had staff in our elementaries working with our students. And then we have Lindsay Runk and Cameron Antwine from COPFCU. The credit union is an amazing partner for us. They do a lot with our kids in both high schools, with the branches that are here, the student-run branches. They do events at our football games to keep engagement going. They're a great resource for our staff for financial advisement and financial literacy for our students. So we thank all of them, whether they are in attendance or not, but they did RSVP, so hopefully they're on their way. We're going to start tonight by orienting to our mission and our strategic plan. The mission statement and our strategic plan really are those guiding posts that really keep us moving on a path. Our mission statement is that we will create a responsive learning community, and that responsive learning community where all students are valued, guided, and challenged along a pathway to success. That mission is the heart of what we do on a daily basis. It is in service of the students you saw on here the stage tonight and the ones that aren't here but are within all of our buildings and hearts. So that mission statement truly is that guiding post, that principle that we hold on to every single day. Our strategic plan has 5 key areas. This strategic plan was developed through community engagement, and we've been working to embody that and bring it to life. And so our strategic plan has 5 areas: student achievement, social emotional development, diversity and equity, financial stability, and a culture of trust. Just to give context for what those things mean at a very high level, you'll get more as we go through tonight. But for student achievement, that really means that we're going to ensure that every student maximizes their potential, achieves at their highest level, and has a viable post-secondary option when they leave us. Social emotional development for Northwest, that means that we're going to ensure that every student is prepared to learn. that they have the resources they need to meet our school expectations, be in class, learn, and meet those expectations. Diversity and equity has multiple components. First, it's to recognize the diversity of the community that we serve and the community that's within our walls. Second, it's to make sure that that community feels like they belong and are included. And third is to provide equity. That means that students and families get what they need, when they need it, and how they need it, because everybody needs different things at different times. For financial stability, we want to be transparent about our finances. We want people to understand where we spend our money. We also consistently and strategically align that to our priorities and share that with our community. And then lastly, we have a culture of trust. That means that we're going to intentionally work to build strong, healthy relationships with all of our constituents so that all of their voices are heard and that we can incorporate their voices into the work that we do. We'll go through each of those in more detail as we go through this evening. We also are guided by our Portrait of a Graduate. Our Portrait of a Graduate was, again, with a lot of community input. It identified, other than a diploma, other than a post-secondary option, what qualities do we want our students, when they leave our educational institution, to have embedded within them to be good community members, good members of society. Those are communication, critical thinking, integrity, that they have a learner's mindset, adaptability, and empathy. And those get embedded, and although it's called a Portrait of a Graduate, we start building that in preschool. And we build those qualities and competencies through our social emotional development, all the way through graduation, to make sure that those competencies really shine through in our graduates. As we go through, we'll take one pillar of the strategic plan at a time. We'll start with the culture of trust, because we have to have a trusting culture built on strong, healthy relationships before anything else can truly happen. With our culture of trust, we actually provide the opportunity every year for our students, our families, our staff, and our community to give feedback. That's through a survey that goes out every spring. We encourage everyone to engage with that survey. It is rather lengthy, but it gives us a lot of feedback that we can use. The better the engagement on the front end with that survey, the better data we have, and the better data we have, the more precise our response can be. So this is the second year we've been able to administer that and share that data. Our 2023 data for the culture of trust, when it was administered this spring, was a 64% for the district compared to the benchmark of 74. That is down 2 percentage points from last year. When we think about culture of trust, it is about engagement. It is about listening. It is about availability and accessibility. It's also about response. Every building has building level specific data from that entire survey. They've been able to look at that data, analyze that data over 2 years, and look for trends. What are they seeing from their families, their kids, and their parents? And what are they saying about their school? And every school has a customized response for how they respond to that, whether it's about parent engagement, responsiveness to parent emails, so that they can continue to get better, as we all strive to do. One of the things that we also have been working on, because we've heard from our community that we want safe and efficient schools. So we've created an operations team where this summer we met with every building. We looked at every aspect of their operations. We put many eyes on that because many hands make light work. And we looked at every operational aspect of the building and how can we be more efficient? How can we be safer? What are the pain points? Where do we see discipline happening? How can we add more supervision there? So we really had an oversized response to that this summer to really look at that. And throughout the year, that team is visiting buildings. And based on the principal's request, we're looking at very specific aspects of their operation to continue to give feedback about, this is the plan you put in place. Are you seeing it play out the way you wanted it to? Do we need to give more feedback, more attention to a certain area? The other thing is engagement. We want to hear from people. We want to engage in conversation. We want people to ask questions. And so we've been going out on Schoolhouse Talks. These are throughout the entire community. We're doing them a morning, an afternoon, and evening, and then we're rotating that cycle again. We're going to various places in the community. We are not asking the community to come to school. We are coming to you. So we were just at Cancun here on Hamilton Avenue last week. We were at the Colerain Senior Center. We're going to be at the Y. We're going to be at a variety of different places. And it's no agenda. We just sit and people ask questions and we talk. What do you want to know about the district? So it's a time just to learn, just to engage. And we want more and more people to come out because we want voices to be heard. And you don't have to wait for one of those events. You can call, you can email. We want to hear from our community. And then lastly, we're continuing to tell our story. We have amazing things happening throughout every building, not just the band, but we have things in every building that we are celebrating on a weekly basis. So we are, through our social media apps, really trying to push out some of the accomplishments, achievements, and good news stories that are happening so that people know. We are the best kept secret in Colerain, in Southwest Ohio, and we need to stop being shy about our story and our successes. We need to own them, celebrate them, and share them. So we are continuing to try to tell our story because it is a good story to tell. Speaking of good stories to tell, we're going to move into financial stability, and we're going to let Amy Wells, our CFO Treasurer, talk to us about this pillar and how we are moving forward as a district, responding to community concerns, but also moving forward with our financial stability.
So good evening. As Daryl said, I'm Amy Wells, the CFO Treasurer of the school district. So the results of our survey for financial stability was slightly lower this year by 3 percentage points to 44%. Not near the benchmark and not near where we want to be. But with financial stability, we want to achieve this by careful monitoring and controlling of our expenditures. We do this through cost savings, economies of scale, and by staying in compliance. We want to prioritize our expenditures and make sure that we're planning, forecasting, and benchmarking our decision-making. For the past 30 years, and most recently the past 3, we have received awards both from the state, national, and international levels for our transparent commitment to as a testament to our commitment to transparency and accurate financial reporting. We also continue to maintain a AA2 bond rating, which is above an A1 common rating amongst school districts in the state of Ohio. Our strategic plan objectives require us to want our community to understand how we are funded, how we spend our funds, and what our needs are to ensure the educational outcomes for our district. We also want to align our resources to our instructional priorities and partner with our community on a transparent funding cycle. To achieve financial stability, the district, we have set a resolution of community partnership, which caps our operational expenses from year to year at 3%. We also have a cash balance reserve policy of 60 days cash balance. And this cash balance assists us with protecting our community and staff from unexpected changes in the economy, such as state cuts, recessions, and inflation. It helps us with one-time expenditures from disasters or capital needs. And it allows us to earn investment income as well as achieve higher bond ratings, which save our community money. This year we've prepared an annual budget document, and this document was to inform our community on our policies, our operations, our financial plan, and to be used as a communication tool. It outlines our instructional priorities by saying where we have been, where we are, and where we are going. You can scan the QR code for more information and to access this document, or you can find it on our website. We also monitor our financial stability through benchmarks. We make sure that we are allocating at least 70% or more to our instructional priorities and instruction throughout the district, and no more than 10% on office and central supports. We set class size targets and have a staffing plan, and we utilize per pupil and budget allocations, as well as square feet budget allocations for things like cleaning. And last year, we spent 72% on instruction and 7% on administrative costs. The state requires that our community fund our school district at 75% of our operations. And as our transparent funding cycle in 2021, the board passed a resolution letting our community know that we would need another operating levy in fiscal year 2024, which is our current fiscal year, and that levy would last 5 years. We can tell you today that we have prolonged that plan until 2028. We've been able to maximize and achieve our operations and push that levy out till need to either increase resources or decrease operations into 2028. And as part of that resolution for community partnership, again, it caps our annual appropriations and expenditures at 3%, but it also has a commitment to student achievement, and it maintains our community's investment in our facilities, technology, as well as teaching 21st century skills. And now Mr. McKee will come up with the facility update.
Good evening. Just like to give you a brief update, a very brief update on where we stand with our master facilities plan. So there have obviously been several master facility plans throughout the years. However, I'd like to take a step back with the state building assessment conducted by the state in 2009. This assessment was used to create the master facility plan used in 2015, which led to the construction of 3 new elementary schools. In 2021, the district formed a new committee, and then again in 2023 in order to update the previous plan. The current committee is meeting to identify 2 major things: district needs and community priorities. Hopefully, you've seen requests for taking a survey. This survey will help the committee to align district needs with the community priorities. So just to recap the 2015 master facility plan. The district and the community collaborated and decided to replace 5 aging elementary buildings with 3 new 21st century learning facilities. There was a bond issue that was placed on the ballot and passed by the community in November of 2015. The 3 new elementary schools were opened in August of 2018. The district earned approximately $16 million of credit through a state program called ELP. So basically the state says if you follow our design manual, you can earn credit towards a future project. These credits can only be used on this future project called CFAP, which is a co-funded project with the state. So what are our facility needs? This could take hours to go through the entire list. But we have 6 buildings that are over 50 years old that need extensive repairs or they need to be replaced. Colerain Elementary School just turned 100 years old this year. Along with other typical needs such as roofing, windows, plumbing, electrical, HVAC needs, these older buildings also have many safety and security upgrades that are needed. Please keep in mind that any renovations may require the buildings to be brought up to current codes and ADA standards. So as you can imagine, this can get extremely expensive. We have identified well over $46 million in deferred maintenance just to keep our buildings warm, safe, and dry. The district did, however, utilize $6 million of ESSER funds to upgrade our HVAC systems for cleaner air. Our middle schools are overcrowded and are currently utilizing different spaces for instruction, such as locker rooms, closets. In conclusion, please stay engaged with the district and the Facility Management Committee as we move towards developing the updated plan. There will be nothing on this upcoming ballot. Thank you to everyone who completed the current committee survey to help inform our next steps. Next up will be Dustin Gehring for Social Emotional Development.
Thanks, sir. Well, good evening, everyone. As was said, my name is Dustin Gehring, along with my partner in this work, Brad Watkins, who's the Director of Special Education. We want to talk a little bit about social and emotional development for our school district. Referring to the Hanover survey, you'll see that we are just a bit off the benchmark of the national benchmark when done this type of survey or these type of questions. When we talk about our social emotional development, we really put a focus on our portrait of a graduate. What type of graduate do we hope to create by having them come through our schooling system? And so on the outside of this circle document, you will see a number of competencies that we are hoping to achieve and that our students achieve as they go through our system from pre-K all the way through 12th. And that really is the basis of the work that we do in the area of social emotional development. Our purpose with social emotional development, so keep this mic holding tight, is to ensure that students are ready to learn, that they have the skills that they can grow the most by working collaboratively, to ensure that the school environment is best prepared to support them to meet all expectations, and to ensure that students grow in the competencies that our community has defined as important. That is the goal in which we look to achieve when we talk about doing social emotional development work. When we look at this work, we look at universal supports as well as individual supports. And when we talk about universal supports, that really means what is available for everyone, every single student. So a couple of things that are really important to note here. First off, that all students continue to learn the skills that students need to be successful. That they learn the skills that help them to be ready to learn, to work collaboratively, to be problem solvers, and to strengthen their conflict resolution skills. And of course, to have a growth mindset. And you'll see many of those things show up right there on that portrait of a graduate. We do that work pre-K all the way through 12th grade by setting aside time and effort to make sure that students are getting those skills. In addition to that, another universal support is having a trauma-informed and responsive staff. We've done a lot of training with our staff, a lot recently in particular, that around being trauma-informed and trauma-responsive. And that work is critical to ensuring that our environments are exactly what our students need. In addition to that, our staff currently use restorative practices. And that is something that's been around for a good number of years as we work to help model for them how it is that we need to resolve conflict. Access to school counselors is also a critical part at all of our buildings, K through 12. Also, access to social workers so that students' basic needs can be met, because we know they need those things met before they'll be ready to learn. Then, of course, PBIS. PBIS, the Positive Behavior Intervention Supports, are district-wide, pre-K through 12. All of our buildings have done incredible work in this area to ensure that students understand the expectations and they understand the common expectations in different spaces and are ready to learn. All of this comes back to that same concept, being ready to learn. But when we take a step further around social emotional development, we really want to highlight the work around our positive behavior interventions and supports. Across all of our buildings, our staff, our leaders have taken incredible steps in this area the last couple of years. They set building-wide clear expectations. You often see them on the walls around the building or stated on the announcements, catchphrases such as take care of yourself and take care of others. They also look to implement comprehensive instruction of expectations. So not just having it on the walls, but taking students to those spaces and saying, This is what it looks like to be in the hallway at Struble Elementary. This is what we want to see from you on the playground at PRE, and etc. And you look for consistent systems of acknowledging and ways of correcting behaviors, being consistent across the board, across our district. We want to take a moment, though, and there's a number of folks in the audience. If you find that your school is on this screen, would you mind just taking a moment and standing up? We want to acknowledge you. These are all of our schools that have earned the PBIS Bronze Awards. Well, would you please stand up if you were involved at Corning Middle School, Taylor Elementary, Pleasant Run Elementary, Corning Elementary, Struble Elementary, or Montfort Heights Elementary. Let's take a moment and give them a big round of applause. That work is not easy and not done alone. We know that there are teams of people that are doing that work for our schools to ensure that our schools are best prepared to help our students be best prepared to learn, and that's incredible work. We also know that it takes a village. It goes beyond just us, and we've reached out and had incredible partnerships that have developed over the past few years. Our partnership with Best Point Therapeutic Services has never been stronger. It continues to be a point of emphasis and support to our students. Our support of our partnership with Hamilton County Educational Service Center continues to be a great place for us to work with other individuals on helping our kids achieve at their highest level. In addition to that, as mentioned before, our partnership with Hamilton County JFS and LAS, Legal Aid Society, continues to grow. In fact, this year, we celebrate year 2 of a partnership around supporting foster youth in the custody of Hamilton County through a partnership called KISSER. It's been incredible work, and it continues to be. We have room to grow and ways to get there, and we're going to continue to do that work around getting our students ready to learn and our environments ready for them to be best ready to learn, and we're going to keep doing that work. Turning things over now to our Director of Human Resources. How about a big welcome for Susan Bunty, who's going to talk about diversity and equity.
Thank you, Dustin. Good evening. So, as you know, diversity and equity is another pillar in our strategic plan. And looking at the Hanover data, as Daryl mentioned earlier, diversity and equity is something that is assessed through that survey. The Northwest Local School District had about 62% on how we address equity in our district, which is slightly lower than last year and lower than the national benchmark. Something to celebrate, though, is we were just notified that we are the 3rd most diverse district in Ohio out of 607 school districts. That means that we are up there, obviously, in the top echelon. Reynoldsburg, north of Ohio, is number 1. Princeton, here in the greater Cincinnati area, is number 2. If we look at the diversity and equity of our staff, though, you can see on the bottom of the graphic in front of you that that represents our students. And we've had some pretty explosive growth here in our region over the last couple of years with students of color in the district. If you look at the staffing patterns, though, you can see that we're making some gains, but we're not nearly keeping pace with our student representation. The 23 data, this is 22 data, early 23 data definitely shows some more growth, so looking forward to sharing that with you next year. And why is this important? Representation matters. So studies show that when we have teachers of color and staff of color in front of our students, all students benefit from that. So how do we work on or use strategies to impact diversity and equity in our district? One is that we know to create connectedness and belonging, we have to create a culture in which all of our employees are seen and heard and valued and feel that they belong. We're going to talk briefly about some of the strategies that we're using in human resources to make sure that that happens. The first of these is called stay interviews. Stay interviews are used across our country right now to not only think about how we retain employees, but how we recruit them. So last year we interviewed 55 of our top performers who were nominated by their leaders. And these 55 employees came and sat down with members of the Human Resources team for about 30 minutes each and really talked to us about why they work in Northwest schools, what brings them here, and most importantly, keeps them here. And there were three main components that really jumped out at us as we were analyzing this data. First, they're deeply connected to the community. Our employees love this community. Second, they care about our students. They want to be here for our kids. And third is they want to see them thrive. This year, we're going to do those stay interviews again, and our leaders have just nominated folks to be able to participate in that. So in addition to using that as a retention strategy, we also use it as a recruiting tool. So what are those qualities that we're looking for in our employees to make sure that they'll be a good fit for us and have a great impact on our teams? Recently, we were able to sit down with one of our employees, Emily Doblinger, providing technical assistance, with one of our employees to see why she committed to work here in Northwest Local Schools. Thank you, Emily. How can you not hear it?
My name is Christy Bogan, and I work at Corinth Elementary, and I'm a cafeteria assistant. Depending on the week, I either serve food to the kids, or I'll work on the register, or I'll work back in the kitchen and clean all the dishes back there. I've been in the Northwest Local School District my entire life, so it's a pretty long time, and so I just know the area well. I know the staff well over there, like the principal, Mr. Clymer, so I just have a comfort. I know where everything's at. I know I'm safe there. I know the kids are safe there, so that just brings a comfort level to me, and I enjoy working there. I like making a connection with the students, even though I only get to see them for maybe 5 or 10 seconds. I like getting to interact with them and make them smile or have like an inside joke with them of some kind of thing, and I just love being like around the kids too. NWLSD is a place where I love to work, and I see myself staying for a very long time. And as an employee, I am honored to work for Northwest Local School District. I really am.
So videos like this help us build our employee brand so that when our future employees go onto our website, they'll be able to see what we're all about. So this video is the first in a series of really highlighting our classified employees so that folks will be able to say, I want to be part of that. So another part that we are leaning into heavily is recruitment, along with building our employee brand. It's how do we compete in a labor market where there are shortages everywhere. You cannot drive down the street without seeing a help wanted sign. And we know that this takes very intense and focused work. In partnership with our business department, including transportation, food service, and our custodial team, and our communications person, we are building a very intentional plan about how we recruit and fill vacancies. In addition, we have left no stone unturned in terms of regional hiring events, and we've sponsored many district hiring events, as you all are aware. This gap in hiring does not just include our classified staff, but it also impacts our teaching staff as well. This scary statistic, over all of our universities nationally, are 50% down in education students. 50%. People are no longer going into traditional teaching programs. But that's okay because we have a plan. We're working on many grow your own programs, including partnership with Mount St. Joseph's, where we have a para going through the Be the Change program to become a teacher. We have 5 more paras in the Grand Canyon University program who are studying to become teachers, and we are celebrating the work of these 6 individuals. And finally, we were thrilled to be in on the ground floor of the apprenticeship program with the state, which includes partnership with University of Cincinnati, specifically addressing shortages in math and science, and also with Mount St. Joseph around special education. Finally, we recognize that as part of a retention strategy, that leadership matters a lot. Leadership is a muscle. You have to use it in order to become truly effective with it. So we have several new assistant principals this year, some of whom are sitting in our audience. And our building principals do an incredible job of really supporting our assistant principals. But we decided as a district leadership team that we need to pour into those folks as well. They meet monthly. Aspiring leaders. Who are those folks in the wings who will be standing up and taking over for those of us who are nearing retirement? Those folks also, through a competitive nomination process, are in a cohort and meet monthly as well. And finally, our supervisors and assistant supervisors are responsible for much of our operational work. And we meet twice a month to really talk through and learn from and support one another. This work is all done so that we are putting the most amazing people we possibly can in front of our students to maximize student achievement. And here now to tell us more about that is Brenda Miller.
Good evening. My name is Brenda Miller, and I'm the Director of Curriculum for Northwest Local Schools. I'm here to talk about our 5th pillar of our strategic plan, which is student achievement. Also with me this evening are Lori Reilly and Emily Doblinger, who are assistant directors in the curriculum department, who will talk about some of the specific strategies we're using to raise student achievement across Northwest Local Schools. Like all of the others before me, this is the data from our Hanover survey. This data specifically shows that we are not at the benchmark that we have received from Hanover based on the perception of our community around student achievement. We decreased from 67% to 64% from 2022 survey to the 2023 survey. This particular part of the survey asks specific questions and asks for responses and perceptions from the community around whether or not our schools and district hold high expectations for student achievement and want all students to succeed academically. The percentage is the percentage of respondents, so those staff members, those students, the community members and our families who completely agreed or agreed with those statements. Our biggest growth this year was for an item around that's read like this. At school, students from all backgrounds have effective college and career support to meet their goals. We had a 4 percentage point increase in this item, with respondents completely agreeing or agreeing with this statement. Performance index is how the state of Ohio calculates achievement from our local report card. Learning loss as a result of the pandemic is a well-documented and much talked about fact. Interruptions to learning that occurred as a result of the pandemic had a greater impact on schools and districts with higher rates of poverty, including Northwest Local Schools. This graphic shows in blue the performance index for Northwest Local School District. In gray, you see the state of Ohio's average performance index. In both cases, there was a significant drop from the 2018-19 performance index to the 2020-21 performance index. This loss of learning was greater for the Northwest Local School District, with a drop in performance index of 19.5 performance index points. What you can also see in this graphic is the rate of recovery. In both cases, you see that performance index is climbing. For the state of Ohio, the gain from 2020 to 21 to last school year, 2022 to 23, was 8.4 performance index points. For Northwest Local School District, that gain was 12.6 performance index points. We are recovering from the learning loss that occurred during the pandemic. However, the gap between Northwest Local School District and the state of Ohio is greater in 2022-23 than it was prior to the pandemic. We know that attendance, student attendance, is largely related to how students achieve in school. Consistent staff and student attendance is essential for us to raise student achievement in Northwest Local Schools. Prior to the pandemic, chronic absenteeism rates were less than 20% for both the state of Ohio and for the Northwest Local School District. When you look at chronic absenteeism, you're talking about students who have an attendance rate lower than 90%. To put that into context, if a student has a 90% attendance rate, that means they've missed approximately 17 days of school. That's a significant missed opportunity for student achievement and for learning. A student, like I said, has about 17 days of school that they've missed if they're at 90%. In our district last school year, we had 36.5% of our students who missed at least those 17 days of school, and many who missed more than that for a variety of reasons. This I bring up because it needs to be a community priority to help our students understand the importance of being in school so that they can reach the goals that they have for themselves, and we can reach the goals that we have for student achievement in this district. Very quickly, here is an overview of our local report card for the 2022-23 school year. I'm going to start by saying we are absolutely not where we want to be as a school district when it comes to each of these measures. However, we are celebrating our gap closing measure and our graduation rate, where we received 4 stars this past school year for Northwest Local. Our overall rating on the report card was 3 stars. As I said, we are not satisfied with our performance here, and we are committed as a staff to doing what we need to do, the necessary work, to make sure that we improve our report card for next school year. We do want to celebrate some excellence that we see across the district. First of all, we'd like to celebrate Colerain Elementary School. Our goal as a district is to get to a 4-star rating. That's where we'd like to be at the end of this school year. Colerain Elementary School is already there. We would like to commend Principal Clymer and the entire Colerain Elementary staff for the focused, data-driven approaches they have taken to school improvement over the past several years. We would also like to recognize Pleasant Run Elementary School and Montfort Heights Elementary School for earning 5 stars for gap closing. Additionally, we'd like to recognize both of our high schools. Colerain High School earned 4 stars for progress, meaning that their students made more than expected growth on our state assessments last year. Northwest High School, we'd like to recognize for earning 4 stars for graduation. They had a 93.9% graduation rate for the class of 2022. In addition to these school recognitions, we're also looking for excellence within our teachers. Last year, our department did individual interviews with over 30 teachers who have demonstrated across time consistently high achievement, and we learned a lot that we are using to drive our work forward. We had several teachers last school year who had 100% of their students score proficient or better on state assessments. We specifically would like to recognize Jenny Hay from Struble Elementary School, who not only had 100% of her students score proficient on the ELA and math test, but also had 96% of her students score at the very top advanced level on their state assessments. We know that high achievement is possible. We have teachers who are already demonstrating that for us, and we look to follow their lead. As you've heard throughout the presentation this evening, developing student competencies so that they're prepared for whatever they decide to do after graduation is a priority for us all. We strive to prepare students whether they decide to go into college, whether they decide to go into the workforce, whether they decide to go into into the military. As you can see here, this data is from our report card for the class of 2022 graduates. We have students who are earning college credit while in high school, who are earning valuable industry-recognized credentials, and who are serving our country through the military. We'd like to spend the next few minutes sharing some of the intentional strategies that we have put in place in the Northwest Local School District to improve outcomes for all of our students and to support our students and staff in meeting or exceeding expectations. As you listen to these strategies, we ask you to listen for the shift that is happening from monitoring adult implementation to monitoring student impact. Emily and Lori will share a bit more with you about these 5 key things that you see here, strategies that we're deploying to raise student achievement and get to impact.
Good evening. Over the course of the last school year, we took a deep dive look into our instructional framework. We wanted to ensure that our framework not only represented instruction, but a holistic approach to positive student outcomes. Throughout last year, we made edits to our framework to not only look at teacher actions, but really start to look at student outcomes. Our framework not only shows our emphasis on intentional and purposeful design, engaging and rigorous facilitation, and time spent reflecting to ensure positive student outcomes, but it also is encapsulated by our portrait of a graduate competencies we value for all NWLSD graduates. We have intentionally outlined how each area of our framework will positively impact our students and the outcomes that we expect to see as our teachers engage in design, facilitate, and reflect. One significant shift that we made to our framework this year is that while outlining the actions that we would like our teachers to take within the classroom, we also outlined the work that we want to see our students be able to do. This created goals for our teachers to be able to monitor student outcomes along the way versus waiting for the end of the year. Embedded in our framework throughout design, facilitate, and reflect, we have our model of instruction, where we are hoping to move our classrooms from teacher-directed to student-led. Over the past 3 years, our teachers have had training around our model of instruction and continue to learn and utilize strategies that empower our students to take ownership of their own learning through a teaming model that focuses on building strong communication skills, encourages productive struggle, and allows students to show evidence of their learning through a variety of methods. In order to shift student outcomes and increase our student achievement at all levels, we have to put a strong emphasis on understanding learning targets and designing tasks that align to the rigor of the learning standards. We know that we must increase the rigor of our learning tasks in order to better see student achievement outcomes.
Not sure what happened. Sorry about that. All right. Addressing the changing needs of our students and increasing student achievement remains a top priority for us at Northwest Local Schools. To support our teachers in reaching these goals they set in these areas, we are continuing to provide instructional coaching to all of our teachers, pre-K through 12. This year, however, we made some adjustments to our coaching cycle based on the work of Jim Knight and his book, The Impact Cycle. Teachers are selecting areas of growth based on what they want to see different in their students. With the help of a coach, they are working to impact student performance, behaviors, and attitudes. Our work around coaching is essential in creating a culture where teachers feel they have the tools and support needed to get different results and impact change. We are excited to announce that our elementary teachers in grades K to 3, some select 4th and 5th grade teachers, and our intervention specialists K to 5 are completing their learning this year around the science of reading. This has been a 3-year commitment for our teachers. This commitment was to better understand how the brain best learns to read. You may have heard about the science of reading lately in the news. It has become a major focus here in the state of Ohio, with the governor announcing a requirement for training around the science of reading. We are proud to say that while other districts are beginning this work, we are finishing it. This work has led to the realization that new materials are needed to support the structured literacy approach that we're learning about. We've begun to explore programs and have 28 elementary teachers piloting new programs. We also know that students in every grade struggle to read. Therefore, we have expanded our training around the science of reading this year to some of our 6th grade teachers and have plans to continue to spread the knowledge to all teachers. Walk into any primary classroom and you will see a shift in the way we are teaching. Our teachers are applying their learning in the classrooms each and every day, specifically in our K-3 rooms. We are beginning to see shifts in student performance and are so excited with the results. As you can see, we are often monitoring the number of students we move from off track to on track. Based on this graphic, you can see that last year, we were able to increase 20 percentage points in moving our 1st graders, now 2nd graders, to off track to back on track. We also had a 24% increase in moving our 2nd graders to 3rd graders from off track to on track. Gains like this will transform a classroom, transform a grade level. They will be felt in all content areas. They'll be felt by students and felt by teachers for years. We want to applaud our teachers for taking their learning and instantly transforming their classroom with it. As you can see, they are having a major impact on student outcomes.
Finally, speaking of student outcomes, we want to talk about the intentional moves we're making to monitor for continuous improvement in Northwest Local School District when it comes to student achievement. We know that what we monitor is what gets done, and what we choose to monitor says a lot about what we prioritize and what we value. As a district, we've made some intentional shifts this year toward monitoring more for the impact of our work rather than focusing on the actions of our staff. This list on the slide you see in front of you highlights some of the systemic ways in which our entire staff is monitoring to ensure impact in the area of student achievement. This intensive monitoring throughout the school year is how we will ensure that when we come together next year, we will have more stars on our report card, and more importantly, that we will improve outcomes for all of our students. We'll switch back to Superintendent Yater.
So we started this evening with the band, looking at kids who are part of our district. We end with kids as well. Kids like Sean, who are going directly from our schools into the world of work to be employed. Like Olivia, who is going directly into the military. And Michaela, who is enrolling in a post-secondary option. Our work is to ensure that all of our students have that pathway to employment, enlistment, and enrollment, whatever option best suits them. We know that this data is representing where we are. It does not represent who we are or where we're going. It represents our baseline. We know that our kids are incredibly capable of a lot of things. Our staff are talented. They have the heart and the soul to support kids. We know that they're here for the right reason, and we know that they can do magic when we have the right conditions, when the kids are in class, which is why we have our focus on attendance, on social emotional learning, on equity and inclusion. We know that this is where we're going. We know we're on a journey. We've put a lot of monitoring and strategies in place. We've done that through collective work with our administrators, our teacher leaders, to make sure that voices have been heard, represented, and included in the decisions that we make. We know that our community takes great pride in their schools. We know that when you ask people in this community where they're from, they will name the school. We know that they are proud of where they've been and what this school has meant for them. We are committed to making sure that that pride is felt and reverberated through every ounce of our community. And we will continue to do that by making sure that we know every single student by name, story, strength, and need. Because when we know our students that well, we can customize what they need, maximize their potential, and ensure their success. And when they succeed, we succeed. And when they succeed, our community succeeds. And that is our commitment, our goal, and our focus, that next year when we're in front of you, we will continue to share success stories. We will continue to share how we are moving forward on a path to success. We thank you for being here in attendance. We thank you for watching at home. We thank you for your engagement, for your support, and please continue to engage, listen, and be a part of the conversation, because when more voices come to the table and more people are heard, we do better as a district. Thank you, and good night.